Welcome back to the Word with G here on ESPN Chattanooga 95.3. It is time for us to have a conversation, an ESPN Chattanooga conversation with one of our favorite people that we get a chance to talk to all throughout the baseball season. He is the head baseball coach going into his 21st year at Chattanooga State. They're coming off of a very successful year last year, 45-12, 18-9 in the conference. They ended up winning the conference tournament by defeating Walters State twice there until they fell in the next round at Andrew. And the regular season for them begins January 26th, a little bit more than a month away from the start of Chattanooga State baseball. Head coach, Mr. Greg Dennis, is here with us once again. Coach, welcome back. It's good to see your face today. And how you been? How was the off season?
Oh yeah, it's good to be back. It's been good. You know, it's off season's kind of a a misnomer, because I don't know that there is an off season, particularly at this level. It's just like it all blends in and runs together. So, but it's been good. We had a productive summer, and then just finished up with the fall a little over a month ago on the field. Had 3 months on the field, so it's been busy.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of downtime, as you alluded to, but we'll get into that a little bit further. Before we get into the off season, I'm going to use air quotes. Reflect back a little bit on last season for me. Give me the high point of the year, and then the point of the season maybe when y'all dealt with some adversity and you kind of really needed to push through, and you found it ended up being a turning point for you guys.
Yeah, it was a super year last year, and I mean, we went into it with hopes that we would be able to put something like that together. But the reality was, I mean, there was really no signs to indicate that that kind of continuity was going to happen. And as you know, I mean, through your experiences in playing and coaching, I mean, a lot of times that stuff just tends to kind of evolve and happen. And I think we got into conference in the first couple series. We kind of scuffled a little bit, but we found out some things about ourselves. And I think when we swept a doubleheader at Motlow in the third series, and then kind of got going and got our feet under us, I think some things kind of came together, and we made a really nice run through the regular season, got into the tournament, and felt like, the last weekend we swept Dyersburg at their place, and that's incredibly difficult with their pitching and all. And that kind of on the way back, we started thinking, this is a great time to kind of get hot, and got into the tournament, and won a couple, and then lost to Walters, and turned around and won again, and hey man, just kind of put some magic together, and found a way to kind of put them. They got a little bit into a funk, I think, a little bit, and we kind of got it rolling a little, and it was something else, and ran out 6 outs short, as you said, down at Andrew, but it by no means diminishes. I mean, those guys put together a really magical run.
Hanging out with Greg Dennis, the head Chattanooga State baseball coach, heading into his 21st year. So the season ends towards the end of May, as you just alluded to with that loss to Andrew. Take me through the typical off season for Coach Dennis in Chattanooga State. What does it sort of look like from when the season ends to when the new season begins?
Well, you say goodbye to your guys, and you meet with your freshmen to decide, what's the next move with them, and then we get into the summer, and we're still busy recruiting and everything. I mean, I'd like to say that we're done recruiting by beginning of June, but just in my experience has not been that. We are still very much doing the back end recruiting, and we spent through July. Other than that, my guys, most of the guys are gone playing summer ball, and last year my assistant coaches were coaching up in Muskegon in summer ball, and so I was left here by my lonesome, kind of battling the demons of 6 outs away from Grand Junction, and doing field work, and just trying to keep the field up over the summer, which is a full-time job. It's mowing 5 days a week on something, and dirt work and spraying and whatever. And really, other than recruiting and doing that kind of stuff, that's the brunt. There's some office work that I do, and certainly stuff like that. But the biggest part is just getting out and kind of doing battle with with the field and everything to try to keep it ready to where when the guys come back, it's not a full-blown, overhaul of work for them.
So when it comes to recruiting, I'm curious, how many do you go out and go to like high school games? Are you going to a lot of summer tournaments and things like that? Tournaments in the spring down in Atlanta, or a perfect game, or do you travel? What does that look like for you and your staff?
I mean, my younger guys do a lot before they left for the summer. They did. I mean, I go out some, but I'll be honest with you, Greg, it's tough. I'm 61. I'm on the backside, so I mean, I'll still go out and go around here, and even maybe down to Lake Point or something occasionally. But really, my role in recruiting, other than just facilitating it out to the guys, is, I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm the closer in the conference room. They bring them in, and I think our big thing is we want you to get to the campus. We want to sell the campus, sell the facilities, sell the city of Chattanooga. And I think where my strength is sitting down in there with parents and guys, and spending about an hour and a half with them, and trying to acquaint them with the program and with us as coaches, and kind of with what our vision is.
So you're I know, I'm not sure how much into TV you are, but you seem to be the Harvey Specter for my Suits fans out there of Chattanooga State baseball.
I just finished that series about 3-4 weeks ago.
Nice.
So that I would like to think I had at some point ever even looked close to like that, but I don't think I ever did. But maybe as a talker and a seller and a deal closer, yes, I would. I think that might be a fair representation.
All right, I love that. Harvey Specter, one of the best closers in New York City via that TV show Suits. Greg Dennis again hanging out with us here on our ESPN Chattanooga Conversations today. All right, so you are going into the fall, and you're really putting the team together. You're doing your recruiting, all that. How much recruiting is actually done, in terms of in the fall or after the fall season is done? Is there any of that, or is it just more so, hey, we're getting it all done beforehand, so when we go into the fall, we have our guys, we have our group set, and we can kind of parse through over 3 months of fall work, on the field, who's going to be able to help us win games come the springtime?
Yeah, I mean, we're done. Hopefully, the goal is by the middle of July, we're done, and we've got our 40 guys. And then it just becomes, let's make sure we get everything done that we need to with them, housing and registration for classes and all of that kind of stuff, so that when they come in early in August, we'll come in and meet on a Saturday early in August and go over guidelines and expectations and kind of orientation on the program. And then we will start practice that Monday, and then classes usually start the next Monday. So it's kind of like they're here for about 10 days before classes start. And no, we may pick a guy up early in the fall if something really fluky happens and somebody that's enrolled in school that we knew nothing about. I mean, I'm not ever going to say that won't happen, because it has, but that's not something we really plan on or figure on. It's more, we're going to get it done by mid-July, and then our hand is dealt, and we're now getting prepped to go out there and go to work with them.
I know you mentioned that you're the closer and you're kind of in the boardroom and you kind of stay at HQ and you let the younger guys go out and do most of the the recruiting out there. But you mentioned you'd gone out a couple of times. What does it take now for Greg Dennis at 61 to go out to Lake Point or go to games or things like that? Is it something somebody throw in 96, 97? Hey, we may have a chance to sign this kid, or he might have a chance to want to come to Chattanooga State. What does it take for you to get out there and go see somebody at a tournament or something like that?
Well, I'll definitely go out there if they're throwing 96 or 97. But I don't know. I think it's more not so much that it takes a certain criteria or whatever. I think it's more if we as coaches really value somebody, and it's somebody that maybe Logan Fleener or Dion Felger or one of the guys has seen, but they're not able to get to, and they're like, man, coach, we really need to see this guy or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, well, hey, if I've got to, I don't have a problem. I'll just be, and I'm throwing this out for public consumption right here, Greg. I'm not that great a talent evaluator, to be honest. And my problem is I look at everybody and go, I think that guy can probably be pretty good. We can make him pretty good. And that's not necessarily the best approach in evaluating talent. I tell my assistant coaches that. I'm like, look, that is not my spiritual gift. I mean, I'm not horrible, but it is mine. Contrary to popular belief, I kind of have a soft heart when it comes to that. And I'm kind of like, well, I think we could, this guy. And that's not the best. So I tell them, I'm like, you guys go see, you tell me, you be a little more harsh and discriminate about it. And then when you tell me, I really think this guy, well, then now let's get him in and let's sit down and make the sale. So I don't mind going, and I will, but it's not that, well, this guy might be the next coming of, Greg Maddox or whatever. No, I mean, it's just more out of necessity that it's just kind of, I need to get out there and see him, or maybe they've seen him a time or two and they go, man, coach, we'd really like it. Why don't you go see and put and that's fine. I'll be happy to put eyes on him.
Now, when it comes to your spiritual gift, you mentioned that talent evaluation is not that, and that's great self-awareness that you're able to admit that and you know that. What is your spiritual gift? I'm curious now.
In all honesty, I think one of them is I'm pretty self-aware. I think that's a gift. Yeah. I don't know. I think probably I think probably to a strong degree I communicate well. I know some people would say probably I communicate too much, and that's probably fair. But I think I am able to try to communicate things, and I can sit with guys in here after a practice or after a fall or whatever and talk with them, and I think give them insights into them that they sit and go, wow, you're right. I think I have the ability to be able to discern that, and on the field, what can guys do well? Where would he best be suited, and what skilled? I think that kind of stuff. I do feel like I have maybe a little more of an innate ability.
Hanging out with Greg Dennis, Chattanooga State head baseball coach, here with us on the show. All right, so when it comes to off-season and schedule and routine and whatnot, how has that changed most for you over the last, you could say over your entire career there at Chattanooga State, but I was thinking maybe the last 10, 15 years. Has it changed a lot, or is it still sort of the same routine?
In some ways, I think it's the same, but I think the biggest change for me has been as I've gotten older. I think I've given more responsibility to the guys around me, to the staff and everything. I've been very fortunate to have really, really good assistant coaches here and guys that really elevated the program and elevated me as a coach. But a lot of times those guys they all have been part-time guys. And I've been very fortunate the last 6 years or so, 6, 7 years, that I've had part-time guys that have been like full-time guys. And I think I've been able to turn more over to them in the off season, be it recruiting, be it field work, be it scheduling things, be it scrimmage scheduling, spring scheduling. And that's, that's been just awesome, because that's the stuff. I mean, I don't mind it, but it really wears you down. And I think, these guys starting, with Drew Bolin and Nick Chambers, and then kind of flowing into Logan and Dion. They're super, super young guys that really are dedicated to the game. And I'd like to think like how I was, 35 years ago or whatever. And man, it's been a real blessing for me personally. And I think for the program, it's been a very much a blessing.
I know you mentioned that there's not a whole lot of off season to what you have to do in terms of your responsibilities and things like that. But in terms of, time in which the regular season's not going on, what is your favorite off season activity? Is it just simply getting out there, whacking a golf ball around? Do you like to travel, hang out with the wife, the family? What's your favorite off season activity?
Well, I love being with the family. I mean, because the spring for me, the fall and spring, now as I've gotten older, I realize how much time I've missed with them. And so really it's as bland as it is. I love being around the house with Mary and being able to go and do things with the boys. They're, of course, our older two are out. One's living in Charlotte and one's living in Nashville. But the Nashville, our middle son fielder, is now taking up golf, which is on his own. I mean, I wouldn't wish it on him, as many gray hairs I've got from that. But I'm excited that he wants to. And so we've gone out and played, and that's this past summer. That was really, really fun. And but I mean, I'm a big reader, man. I love to read. So this summer, I soak in as much as I can reading, and just try to get as much downtime, because I know, man, it gets really busy starting in August.
That it does. Now, as we move forward into 2024, as the calendar is flipping here, talk to us a little bit about this upcoming year's team. What's the makeup of it? Who are some guys that you've lost? Who are the guys that are returning? And some guys that you're excited about that you've added?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a talent standpoint, we have a chance to be really talented. We had a good fall this fall, but it was, it was very kind of up and down. I think leadership-wise, we lost some guys last year. I mean, Adam Haber and Aiden McCaskey, Owen Brock behind the plate. Really, really, really good leaders. I mean, really impactful guys that, did just a phenomenal job of keeping guys kind of on the right track. I think we've got some sophomores this year that are very capable of that. And at times, I just think they've kind of, at points, struggled kind of finding their way to getting there. And we're hoping that coming back in January, maybe the footing's a little bit better. Obviously, it all kind of begins with Charlie Smith. 11-1 last year. I mean, he just kind of a mythic end of the year. I mean, he was just out. It started well, even beginning. He started the year, beating John A. Logan, a nationally ranked team, and finished the year, on 2 days rest, beating Walters, and then going down and beating Andrew the next week. I mean, a fierce competitor, just on the mound with the bullets flying. He's absolutely the kind of guy you want to hand the ball to from that perspective. But I mean, Zach Lear came on this year. He threw a third of an inning last year, and we just couldn't trust him at all. Just control issues. This fall was just outstanding. I just really put it together, and it's awesome to see. Our hope is he and Cooper Longren, who was 5-0 last year. They had good falls. I mean, certainly our hope is those guys are really able to pick things up. Billy Skripak is a freshman that's in, right-hander from Ohio. Outstanding young arm. Ryan Wells, a transfer from Georgia Highlands, a Canadian kid, friend of C.J. Morrow, a second baseman. Really competitive kid that's got a good arm. Reed Leonard is a sleeper from Clarksville, who was kind of flew under the radar from everybody, and he's a mid to upper 80s guy that's got 3 different breaking balls and is just uber competitive. So I think arms wise, we have a chance to be pretty salty. I think defensively and all, that's where our offense has been really good the last couple of years, just really, really good. And I think we have a chance to be, but I think we have some work to do to kind of put the pieces together. I think they're a little closer from an arm standpoint to putting it together.
We're really excited to see how this year is going to play out. Again, you guys open up the season January 26th against Gordon State, at Gordon State. So that should be fun. Again, Greg Dennis hanging out with us here on the show today. What is your favorite thing about being a head baseball coach in college?
Man, it's a good question. I guess just the identity of being identified with the program and carrying that around. I mean, I've been fortunate to be a head coach at 2 different programs, and it's an awesome responsibility, but it's also an awesome feeling to go somewhere in Chattanooga or and have somebody go, "Oh man, you're the head coach at Chattanooga State." Not that people come up, well, I might have my hoodie on or something, and they will say, "Oh yeah," and I said, "Yeah, I'm the head coach." "Oh, you guys do a great job, man." "Yeah, well, that really, I mean, to be identified with the program and see it grow and get that, to me, that's an awesome responsibility, and just to be able to be part of guys' futures and get to see guys have success here and then move on, like an Aiden McCaskey, who came in and did a great job last year after, his freshman year. He really kind of had to find his way and find his, because I think you remember his freshman year, how I told you, man, he's got a chance. He can, but it took him in his sophomore year, and now, he's at Charleston Southern and got a chance to do big things. And that's just awesome to get to be around guys like that on a regular basis and get to enjoy their growth.
If you weren't coaching, what do you think you'd be doing otherwise?
I think what I want, what I would love to do, I'd love to do what you're doing.
We could switch spots. I think we could both do each other's jobs.
But you know what? I think I would love to. I see all of these talk shows, and I'm like, man, I would love to be able to go out and talk to people and interview people and share my thoughts and get phone calls and discuss. I mean, I draw a lot of energy. That's why I like teaching in the classroom. I draw energy from the student. And I think doing what you do, honestly, I think that's awesome. I really, really do. It is so appealing, and it's such a neat venue, and it's grown so much in my professional lifetime. I would never have thought of listening to talk radio and 35, 40 years ago. And now it's like, oh no, I mean, you can't not do it. I mean, to me, it's like, that's just to hear people's thoughts and what's going on. So, I mean, honestly, I think that's what I would love to have done.
It's funny you say that, because growing up for me, that's how I got into this. This is how I wanted to do this. It was because when I was growing up with my dad, it was always listening to sports talk radio on the radio whenever we'd go in the car. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
it's cool. It's a really cool thing. I envy you.
Thank you. I envy you. I love coaching baseball. I love, you get an opportunity. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be doing what you're doing. Well, if I'm being honest.
Well, maybe we're better where we are than where we would have been.
Maybe. I still get a little bit of it with my coaching my 12-year-old. So
you do. You're fair. You get to put your toe in the water, maybe more than just your toe.
Oh yeah, it's about at least lower half of my body is all in the water with all of this that I have going on in terms of running a program and everything like that. But that's neither here nor there. But you ever think about starting a podcast?
Well, my boys my older boys they've said, well, you want to, and I'm like, I don't know enough about it, but I mean, I'm like, maybe as I get here towards them, maybe I will, because there's a lot of times when players or even parents or whatever, I tell you, I think I do a recruiting and everything. I do a good job in there. My dad was a salesman. I think I've got a lot of my dad in me. And so I would enjoy a podcast and being able to share thoughts and maybe on competition and coaching and things that more so than just X's and O's. And I don't know if that's where the next step is, well, then that might be a great route to go to get, scratch me a little bit where I itch.
There you go. Very nice. All right. My last one for you, Coach, is if you were talking to a younger coach, say somebody who wanted to either be a college coach at some point or somebody who was just starting in their college coaching career, say running a program or something along those lines, what would be some advice that you would give them?
That's a good question too. I think I probably would say, one, be true to yourself. Be self-aware and know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Don't run from them, run to them. I think be honest with your players. I mean, even when it's hard, they want that. And that's a hard thing. It's easy to say, well, yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to be honest. You don't have to be brutally honest, but you have to be honest with them. And then I think probably the other thing, and again, I think I've been very fortunate at this, is just have a thirst for learning. Want to learn. Don't, for 1 second, don't think you even remotely know nearly as much as you need to know or you're capable of knowing. And I am very much a learner. I love learning in any capacity, but baseball-wise, I can sit and listen to people or watch people all day long and just try to pick and choose and get stuff. For young guys, I'm like, I know you're excited about what you already know and you want to get out there, but you know what? Just, man, have an unquenchable thirst to want to learn.
Greg Dennis, the head baseball coach, Chattanooga State. He's heading into his 21st year here at the helm. He, again, they start their 2024 season January 26th with a doubleheader at Gordon State. It's been good to catch up with you, Coach. Thanks for giving us a little inside look into what the offseason looks like for you and your program, and what this upcoming year looks like as well. We're excited to watch another, hopefully very successful year of Chattanooga State baseball.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to it in the spring, hopefully getting the weekly, weekly visit going, and have a happy and safe holiday, man. Enjoy it, and go get to spend time with the people that mean the most to you.
You as well, my friend. Thanks so much for being here.
All right. Thank you.